We're here near Waldport, Oregon, at the site of the Alder Creek Cemetery, where many of the principals, or a few of the principals, in the story of the Shadow Testament are buried. We're now just going to take a look here. We're actually looking for 3 specific graves. One of them is for Frank Hurt, who was a member of the Crefeld sect, Crefeld being the minister who was the false prophet as he appears in the Shadow Testament. The other 2 people buried here are Molly Hurt, his wife, also very important in that sect. And finally, we're looking to see if we can find the grave of Esther Mitchell. Esther Mitchell is the real-life person who is the character of Jane Marshall in the Shadow Testament. You can see that the cemetery isn't very big, and it was kind of, even with a modern automobile, not the easiest place to get to. So we can imagine, back in the early parts of the 20th century, what a trip it would have been to get up here, maybe by wagon even. So, still looking around to see if we can find these graves. No luck yet, but there's quite a few left to look at, even though the cemetery is pretty small. Oh, here's something. Okay. Here we are. Hurt. Molly and Frank Hurt. As I said, these were 2 very important principal players in the story that is the basis for the Shadow Testament. Molly and Frank Hurt were members of the sect on Smith Island, which in our play is called Kiger Island, during 1903. They also moved in around the Corvallis, Portland, Oregon City area, and eventually landed in Seattle, where one of the final moments of the play takes place. So this is pretty exciting to find these 2 here. So let's see what other graves we have here. Moving back a little bit into this plot. Let's see what's... Oh, okay. Here's Esther, wife of James Barrie. This is Esther Mitchell, who is depicted in our play as Jane Marshall. So this is the person, the real person in the story of the Crefeld sect on which the Shadow Testament is based. Esther Mitchell was the real person. Jane Marshall is the fictional character that Susan Mock has created for her play. And here she is. Esther was only about 17 years old when she got involved in the sect. And as we see here, the real Esther was born in 1888 and died in 1914. And I don't think I can give away too much about what happens in the events of the story of the Shadow Testament, but we do know that this religious sect of Holy Rollers took place from about 1903 to 1906, when the story ended in murder. And how that murder happens is the suspense that's built within the story of Susan Mock's play, The Shadow Testament.